Well, welcome to this journal entry for Drawn to Whitetails. I'm Drew Ramage. On this journal entry, I'm going to touch on what we did a couple weeks ago, and that was the soil sample that we took at the Hourglass food plot site. I took that to Phelps Farm Store, and I just now got the results back from that soil test. And it came back kind of like what I figured. It came back pretty bad. As we could tell when we were doing getting the soil together, you could see that grass wasn't growing very well. It was pretty stunted, and it just didn't feel like that soil had the nutrients that it needed. And the soil test is going to show that. So let's jump into what the results are here, and I'll explain what's going on and what my plan is going forward. So let's jump into the soil test report from Phelps Farm Store. I know this probably isn't the flashiest of videos, but this information is pretty important. All right, we're going to start with we have a sample ID, or the name here, which is the Hourglass or the Hour food plot. I also did one for my home, so that way I can distinguish between the two reports. And here's what the test results are. You've got the P, the K, and the pH right here. And that tells you what levels they are. Let's go into depth a little bit on that. The P is for phosphate. And what does phosphate do? It is the root development and the strengthening of the overall plant. And that came back as low at 8. The K is for potash. That is for like the general health of the plant, and it came back low as well. And then we also have the pH, which is 4.7. Optimal would be somewhere around 6.5 to 7.5. So as we probably already knew or figured, this soil is poor. All the nutrients it needs, or what the seed needs, is low. Everything that it's needing is low. So what are the recommendations down here to help bring this soil to more of an optimal level, so that the plants can get the nutrients they need? N is for nitrogen. That is for like turning plants green and making it grow. When we initially do this, we're going to do something really low with like a 6, 24, 24, or 0, 24, 24. Something with a low nitrogen is what we're going to do in the beginning. 30 to 45 days after the fact, we're going to add our nitrogen. For the phosphate, it's saying 110 pounds per acre. And for the potash, it's saying 140. Well, we're doing half an acre, so we're going to cut those numbers in half and probably do, what's half of that? 55 pounds and 70 pounds of each. Finally, you've got your lime recommendation over here. Lime is what brings that pH level up, helps the plants get the nutrients that are in the soil out to them. With the low one, they can't get as much nutrients that are in the soil to the plants. So we need to bring that up, especially if we're going to be planting this for years to come. So half an acre, divide that by 2, and it's going to be just over like 1.6 tons of lime is what's recommended. Well, that was the results from the Hourglass food plot. I know, again, it's not the flashiest topics, but it is some very important information. Now we know exactly what we're working with this soil, so we can address it going forward, and it can last from years to come. We're not just taking a shot in the dark, hoping and praying that we're putting the right nutrients on the ground. Now we know exactly what we need to do, and we got a lot to do with this soil. What we've got planned going forward, and we'll probably show this on the journal or show this on one of our shows when they start back at the end of August, is about August 15th. It's July 30th today. The 15th of August, we're going to go in there and spray that plot, kill everything that's growing in it, and then about 10 days later, go in there and disc it up or till it up, whatever equipment we have available. And then we're going to add the fertilizer and lime at that time. Somewhere around the September 1st, I'm going to be watching the weather, trying to find a good rain that may be coming. Go in there and plant the oats so that they'll be ready to go come November. After they get a couple frosts on them, that's when they mature and are most attractive to the deer, and we'll be ready to have a good spot to hunt this fall. I hope you enjoyed this week's journal entry. Again, thanks for bearing with me. Hopefully this information is helpful to you. Get out there and do something on your farms. Give yourself the edge come this fall. And remember, the season never ends. Thanks.